welcome. Summertime is such a fun time, I think, to really play with fabrics. I'm not sure why, but to me, specialty fabrics lend themselves to summer. And so I really wanted to cover some specialty fabrics. We've put some new ones up. Border prints. They're not just border prints, though, panel prints. And I noticed that when I go to buy them in New York, I always specifically say, do you have any border prints? Do you have any specialty prints? And a lot of them will have them because nobody else wants them because they're a little higher thought process. A lot of the small manufacturers, a lot of the fabric stores don't want them because they don't teach people what to do with them and how to use them. So I really want to spend a minute to just explain some details and throw out some rules because I personally believe they make the best possible garments. They make the most unique, beautiful garments of anything else we can do. The Fabric Always Wins is a great source for you to learn more about these specialty fabrics, but I want to go over some of them with you. Last Tuesday night we talked about a design by Jason Wu, and I mentioned it to you, and I've had several questions and comments asking where they can find it. So we're going to show you this first picture. And this first outfit, it's from Bergdorf Goodman, and you can see that what they did with it. And notice the solids, notice the prints, notice where they are. Now this is actually a pants and a blouse. It's not one piece, it's a pants and a blouse, but you can see where they placed it, and the detailing just, I think, makes an exquisite outfit. Now remember, the point is not whether you like it or not, the point is where the placement of the fabric, because we're going to look at this next one. This is at Neiman's, and you can see that now it's a shift. It's a one-piece dress, and they just let the fabric do its thing. So in one case, they chose a very complex styling with a complex fabric, and the next one they chose a very complex fabric with a very simple styling. Both are several $1,000s, and so that concept is one that we want to think about. I'm going to give you a rule and say that if the fabric is complex, I want my styling to be simple in my pattern. That's not always the case. The designers, as you saw in that first one, the fabric is complex and the design is complex. However, you want to get a little experience under your belt before you start taking on that complexity. I think if you're not familiar or not comfortable with border prints, panel prints, let's start with simple, complex fabric, simple pattern. So I think Giorgio's top is a great simple pattern. So that's why I'm using it this morning. And the example I'm going to give you is a new border print fabric we have, complex fabric. So you can see in this photo what I did is I put it all the way down one side. And I ran it vertical simply because vertical is a little more flattering. It doesn't matter, that was just my choice. And the fun thing about all of these designs is that we get to choose how we want them. This is a scuba. I love it. It feels like, I mean, it just feels amazing. It's a poly cotton scuba. So it has a little bit of, I don't know, I feel like I could hug myself. It just feels really, really soft. Now, this case, this border runs along the selvage. So fabrics are all different. So I'm just going to kind of give you some guides. Typically, they'll run along one selvage, they'll run along two. If they run from selvage to selvage, they become what we call a panel print, which is what this is, this stripe. And this is a panel, although it's a repeating panel. It doesn't literally have a break. The one, I'm going to show you another one. So if we go from, typically when the print starts to repeat itself, or the coloration in this case, because it's a stripe, it's usually 1 yard. So just keep that in mind, that at 1 yard, even if it doesn't say it on the fabric you're buying, that's when the panel, the coloration starts to repeat itself. I'm going to show you this one underneath. Again, it's at 1 yard. So if you take the little small gray stripe to the little small gray stripe, that is 1 yard. So you can pretty much count that that's what it is. I'm going to show you this fabric back here, 4330. This is the one I made the panel print with the other day. And I'm going to unroll it because what you'll see is you'll see a break, and you'll see that's what I was talking about. That is a panel print that repeats itself. And that is 1 yard. It's 1 yard from this one over here to that one there. So you can see that you get panel prints that have a border. You get panel prints that are just repeating. And then you get what we call border prints. Some have the borders on both selvages and some only on one. But either way, the goal is to get them and to just play with them and to really let your mind just go. You can see, and the reason I showed you Jason Wu, again, doesn't matter if you don't like it, but the point is you can place them in different ways and get completely different looks out of the exact same fabric. So the goal is to really enjoy your fabric. The fabric always wins. We want to look at that fabric and say, what is the best possible use of that fabric? And then take it to my pattern. Try not, when you're dealing with these kind of fabrics, pigeonhole into a certain pattern. You want to really look at what is the best use of this fabric, it's the best thing I can do with it, and let your mind play a little bit. Don't rush into the project, but really just enjoy. Happy sewing from Silhouette Patterns.